All right. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Average Superstar TV. I'm your host, Lauren Lepre. Please give me that pleasure and hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. And this week, we're back at it again. This week, we're going to be going in a lot of directions. We got a woman here who's in a little bit of jack of all trades here. She's in the spiritual world and self-healing, and we're going to get into her world and everything that she does, but we'd like to welcome to the show Danielle-Diva Borozan.
You said it correctly.
Awesome. That is to make sure I got your name right. But Danielle, welcome to the show.
I must say, first of all, thank you, Lauren, for having me, inviting me to be part of your show. It's quite an honor. So thank you again. I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm definitely this show. I always said, as much as I focus a lot on film, I always tell everybody I'm going to go all over any direction. I think it's a good show for this audience, and you definitely have some things to bring to the table. I know you've got a book out called The Magic of Spirit Lake. I know you're the owner and director of New Age Studios. I know you've got a new show coming up called Paranormal Doors. So why don't you just give a little bit of the audience what exactly you do?
Thank you so much. So I'm a third generation born of a psychic and a medium. My background is a medical professional. So actually I do nursing, and I do love it. And I also do psychology, analytic and profiling. But for a long, long time, I've been psychic and a medium because that's part of my family. I own the New Age studio, and it's the center where actually I do the energetic healing. I do spiritual guidance and soul food. So it's all connected about finding yourself, finding the right path. And we're using the ancient tradition in healing to give you that compass. I did write a book, The Magic of the Spirit Lake. It's a true story that anybody can find on Amazon. Now the printed version is also out, so I'm really happy about that. And basically regarding that, it's about true story. It's about the story about my mother that put me on this basically path where my mom survived almost third stage of a rectal cancer because of the ancient healing and Aboriginal healing and the magic of the Spirit Lake that is here in Alberta, Canada. I've opened basically many doors, and I try to connect to many souls and many people. I found that's very important because without being connected to one another, we cannot find the doors to anywhere. So even to be an average superstar, you have to connect to somebody up there.
Absolutely. So there's a lot to unpack in everything you said. So let me just start with saying you have an amazing accent, amazing voice. Where are you originally from?
So originally, a lot of people ask me about that. Originally, I have all different kind of bloodstreams inside of myself. And actually, I found many things about myself, including that. So originally, I came from, and I'm a Greek Orthodox, I came from the Europe. And that's how I was raised and baptized. After that, basically, I continue on my path. But I came to Canada when I was 14 years old. So, I'm a grown woman now. This is my home. And I'm proud to call myself Canadian. So, but yes, my little accent, everybody loves. And I started laughing.
I totally adore it. So now that when you transformed into, when you now hail from Canada, did you automatically start loving hockey?
Yes, that's true. Hockey wasn't that popular back home, especially in Mediterranean coast. We are really hot and warm there. So there's no so much places that you can even put in, and train the hockey. But as I entered junior high and then I entered high school, hockey became center of my life, just like every other Canadian. So I am a proud hockey fan, so I can say that.
That's
yes, and
great.
I know some big hockey stars that actually work with some of the children that I work with, and they supported them through their life and through their goals. So I'm really happy about that. That there are also really good people that are there to help our community.
That's great. So you're actually from, so right now you're in Alberta.
Yes.
So tell us how great the winters are there. It's very warm there in the winter, right?
Yeah, our winters, because you guys go in Fahrenheit, but I can tell you in Celsius, because we work in Celsius, it goes minus 45, minus 50 sometimes.
Wow.
So it can be pretty brutal, but I'm used to it. To me, as much people say that Canada is cold, I must say to me it's very warm and loving. So that's what I can say.
So how do you guys get around with your cars and stuff without your batteries dying? Like,
well, I must say, we usually drive most of the American cars. I have a Nissan right now, so that's a Japanese car. So, but our cars do get basically, before they get imported, they have these special generators and whatever, so they're upgraded, and sometimes they plugged in the garage to get like basically to keep the machine warm. But I only had once, and this is a couple years ago, when I had my other SUV that actually stopped on me, but I never had an issue with my battery. So we are okay. I guess we are used to.
Yeah, the spiritual gods of vehicles must be on your side as well.
I guess so.
So, yeah, so you were saying this was something that on your family line, and you also were just kind of briefly saying about your mother had cancer, yes. and you used a certain trade from the, this is all in the, anyone can read about this in the Magic of Spirit Lake book.
Yes.
Sweet. So, and it was, what kind of cancer was this?
It was a rectal cancer, and she has been fighting it for almost 5 years. We didn't know till everything.
And anybody here listening right now, cancer's affected their life one way or another. So yes. Yeah, so feel free to have the floor with that, exactly what happened with that, because I think you know, we have ways of fighting it medically, but I think people are always open for something, a topic of this, because it affects so many people to try other things. So go for it. So exactly what happened.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lauren. This is what's actually making me happy. And when I hear so many people reaching me out, and you are connected to me to the social media, so you know about that. My goal is actually to say to the people that never give up hope, and you know that there's many other options out there. Of course, she was a part of being a patient here at the Cross Cancer Institute here in Edmonton, Alberta, and she had wonderful doctors that are also mentioned in that book more than multiple times. But then, you know, I did notice as she was using the chemotherapy and radiation that her health is deteriorating. And we know that, you know, that as much as they're killing the cancerous cells, this therapy is also destroying your body, your immune system, and the healthy part of the body and healthy cells.
Isn't it amazing in the year that we're at right now? Like, that's still our number one thing, is to put poison in our body to basically F you cancer as well. One of us is going to make it. One of us, I just find that so weird. I just do.
It's true. Yeah. And if I can call you my friend, if you don't mind, you know, being also in that medical field, I saw so many people dying, and, you know, even children and grown-ups. But then when you're on the other side, it feels much heavier because your hands are tied, and now you're dealing with your own mother, and she's my best friend. So one night I started digging to the computer, and I started searching on miracles and the healings. That's while she was sleeping after, you know, taking her to the therapy. And as I was typing, I was with my dog, Maggie, and I found out, and he said, Spirit Lake or Wanakami on Nakota people, their language. And I started searching, and then I saw so many people, my friend, found the healing here. They even, you know, started walking. They were crunches for the, you know, over 10, 12 years. Some of them had multiple sclerosis, heart issues. And then I saw also that was recognized by Vatican. So the Vatican just recognized this place as a place of healing. And then I started contacting with some of my Aboriginal friends, and I started asking, you know, how miraculous this lake is. What do I need to do? And I decided to take my mother there. We went more than a couple times, and I did the rituals that I was told, and I learned from our Aboriginal people. And I will never forget the words of oncologist Dr. Keith Tenkel saying exactly the words, just continue whatever you're doing, it's working. And that's what's written in a book. And my mother finally got healed, and we crossed basically cut the Cross Cancer Card Institute, and, you know, she was healed. But this was a miracle, and that's how I decided to write a book about it, to say, hey,
What,
this little hidden jewel, it's a lake that nobody knows why it's totally providing the healing. Over thousands of the years, Aboriginal people didn't create
let me just jump in 1 second.
Yes.
So this is Spirit Lake in Alberta, Canada, because there is a lot of Spirit Lakes through the world. So
Yes.
everybody knows what one you're talking about. It's the one in Alberta, Canada. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And basically also they can find it under other name. I use it under Aboriginal name, Wanakami, or the Spirit Lake. And then when the basically pioneers came, they changed the name into the Lake Saint Anne. One of the priests named it Lake Saint Anne. So there's a missionary to Lake Saint Anne. So they can even type on the Google Lake Saint Anne, and they'll immediately find the pilgrim and thousands of the healing that really did happen. But we must understand that our Aboriginal people over thousands of the years did practice their calling upon the universe. And what's amazing, Lauren, that there is a story that actually meteorite fall inside of that lake and give it certain properties that did heal many people, including my mother. And I decided then to give basically back to this beautiful community and to spread the word about, Spirit Lake, and say to people, come here, because it does do the miracles.
That's amazing and awesome. So a couple things. So when you say she's healed, it's not considered in recession at all. It's considered
no, she's totally 100% healed. Everything is done. And basically, anybody who knows me, I was so happy on my Instagram and on my Facebook, I share about that. And I even share how I cut the card, because there's no remission. She's totally healed 100%. She's living a normal life. And she also had a stoma. So they remove even the stoma. So the stoma is gone. Yes, she has a scar, but when you had a cancer, I think the deepest scar is inside of your soul and in your mind that you need to recover now. And she is not worried about that, but she is now a totally healthy woman. She's 66. She's living a normal life just like you and I.
That's wonderful. So, and you're saying some time ago, a meteorite actually hit this lake. And
yes, in my book, I described exactly. So this is also proven by geologists. So Nakota people that lived there, they were also praying to this lake prior to the missionaries that were coming from United Kingdom and from the France, because that's the one that colonized Canada. And they would pray to this lake. They would even leave the buffaloes or the bisons are the offering. And they say that dragon would come out and take the buffaloes.
Mm-hmm.
But also the meteorite fall down, and that meteorite give the certain properties to the lake. Like it has a totally different properties than many other lakes here in Canada. So it's very powerful, full of healing. It's warm. I swim at it many times, and it's recognized by Vatican that because so many people got healed, and the medical part, just like my mother, is proving that. So Vatican in 1985, when John Paul II came, there is a plaque that he recognized this place as a holy place of healing.
That's great. This is something, I'm sure there's probably a few documentaries probably could watch on YouTube.
Of course.
Yes. I would advise everybody to do that. And I believe in that meteorite stuff, because where's a meteorite coming from another world? And, it's crazy because I'm one I love watching documentaries and just doing research, but everybody right now could go to Netflix and watch a series called The Unexplained, hosted by William Shatner. And they actually said the octopus came to Earth through a meteorite. It is actually proven that it is not an earthly animal. Somehow it got attached to a meteorite where it crashed here. So I'm always about, and I know there's probably some people doing an eye roll hearing me say that, but I believe in that. Like, it's proven. That part, at least the octopus, is proven. So
yeah. And somebody who's been in a medical world for quite a while, because I entered the medical profession when I was 19. When I always go with the fact, and then whatever our modern medicine can do, then we go. But then when I was actually placed in a different kind of, suit, I recognize I have to find solution. I have to find better life and better solution for this illness, except, just sitting there and waiting for chemo and radiation to, destroy her cells. And her hair was starting to fall apart. I wrote all of that in her book. She was deteriorating in her health. And now we found that Spirit Lake is our home. My whole family and many of my friends and people that follow me go there, or like the St. Anne, because they know that this place, because of that meteorite and our beautiful Aboriginal people and their tradition and calling upon the universe, like you're saying, the stars and the gods, and the rituals that were done then, they were done so many times that they make this lake so special.
That's great. So in this book, it's called The Magic of Spirit Lake. You wrote it, and people could buy this right now on Amazon.
Yes, they can buy it. There is, if they just, I'm really so happy. So if they want it, basically booking a cover, they can also contact me if they want the sign one, because I'm getting like the whole bunch for myself. And I'm so happy about that. And they can also order it on Amazon themselves. There is the one that it's a basically electronic one, or if they want a printed one, is totally fine. So I'm really happy about that. It's not about, Lauren, you will understand me. You are a gentleman that's been in this profession for a while. It's not about the money. It's about my story and my mom being inspiration to the others. And I want people to know that there's other options there, to never give up hope. That's what this book is all about.
That's great. I think we need more positive stuff like that, because it's safe to say, especially in the last couple of years, including right now, like, we're losing our humanity every single day. And I've always told people, if they can put their phone down and stay off the TV, I just literally think there's like a download program of you see things.
Yes.
You see things without it. And I could tell everybody here, when I first got into film business in 2010, by 2012, I wasn't even ever turning my television on, period. It was a wasted bill. So I killed my cable from 2012 to 2017. And people are like, well, I do that all the time. I'm like, no, I mean, like, I had a black screen and I had a DVD player hooked up to it. If I ever got a chance, I put a DVD in. There was no way to get to me. In my car, I had CDs and MP3 players. So basically what I'm telling everybody is, I was like free. The only news I would hear if it would maybe be a Facebook news feed. And with that, I started just seeing things more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just down to even just driving, looking up at the sky a little more, like stuff we just take for granted. And you start coming a little bit more with the earth that way. And I just advise everybody, stop worrying about likes. Stop worrying about what people, if you could have your political views, fine. But like, if someone doesn't agree with you, it doesn't mean hit the hate button.
No.
It really doesn't. Like it's okay. Like, everybody's like fighting to be the king or queen of the world the last couple of years. And it's really made me step back. And I mean, in your situation, I guess you would probably say a few things, kind of what I did, get away. But what would you advise someone who's trying to even get some spirituality in the world? What would be their first step?
Some of the first steps, I totally agree with you. We cannot hate one another because we have some differences in our views, or like you're saying, political opinions. Even let's say me and my family members and the people that are really close to me, doesn't mean we have to always the same opinions, but it doesn't mean that I have to hate them or they hate me. So the first thing is to be a little bit more open-minded. The second of all, it would be, don't believe everything, I'm sorry, that it's said on TV. TV is a propaganda machine. It doesn't matter on which channel you turn it,
there's always a narrative. There's always a narrative of money. It is. Just in the end, I don't care, if whether you're on one of the two teams or you're an indie, they're trying to get money out of you.
Exactly. It's all about, it's a money machine. It's not about your soul. This is a money machine. That's what it is. And, of course, we have to pay the bills. We all do. I pay them too. But the one thing, the money is not everything. And also to turn to spirituality, go to some books. Go to, all traditional books. Hold them in your hand instead of, just, going through your phone and checking out the stuff. Connect with that. Go to the lakes, connect to the nature, take your shoes off and be barefoot on the ground and feel, that basically the dirt, the sound, around you. Pick up all of that, If I can mention it, I was young then, but I loved. I know it's Disney and it's a fantasy, but go back to being Pocahontas. Go back with connect with Colors of the Wind. Really, I can say that connect. What Disney is trying to tell us through that, for example, cartoon is actually to connect us with our ancestors, with love with one another, with love with the nature. And that's what I like about our First Nations. And here in Canada, we really do respect them and admire them for everything that they do and for what they're standing for.
Great. Cool. So moving on here, because I'm trying to get some time to make sure I get everything in your world.
No problem. I'm here.
you're the owner and director of New Age Studios. So
yes.
Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, New Age Studio, I opened in 2017. So it's a really beautiful way of healing and connecting with the people. So you were talking about spirituality. Actually, I had clients this morning while I was doing basically the reading. So we do reading of the tarot cards, what it's basically done for thousands of the years. They did it on in the UK kingdom, like King Richard, King Arthur, Caesar, and many other. They still do it. Queen Elizabeth still does have their advisors. So many did. Princess Diana did have a psychic and a medium that even told her that Prince Harry will leave the crown and go for a woman from United States. So we all know about that. So all of them, and they still do. They have their advisors because they know these people will help them to go through the life. So also, I do the Reiki. I do basically crystal therapy. I also do interpret the dreams. And we also do the healing with the sound therapy. And that will be a lot of times with some of our autistic children, disability children and youths. So I'm really proud to work with many of the senior centers too, where we provide the healing and renewal of the soul and energy.
For the audience's sake, this is also your studios. Do you actually have a place, and do you also, I guess, work online through Zoom? So anyone from around the world could contact you.
So basically, I will give you the information. You can always post my email.
Absolutely.
So basically, they can contact me through the email. They can book the appointment, and just like I said this morning, my 2 appointments. One was from New Jersey, another one was from California. And basically what I did, just like I'm talking to you right now, we go live and I will do everything with you, just like if you're here with me in the studio. There's no difference in the quality of providing the care. You get
that means today you were coast to coast. You were California to Jersey.
Yes. So I was also a guest on Coast to Coast, and I love being part of that. Because I admire Mr. George Newry. I think he's also a wonderful person. So that's a lot. I'm all over the place.
That's wonderful. And anyone what's the email?
Yeah, so my email is mdidi1720@gmail.com. So mdidi1720@gmail.com. Just say, Daniel, I would like to book appointment, talk to you. You are more than welcome to contact me.
That's great. And you're like a never-ending book here, and that's great. Tell us about Paranormal Doors.
So Paranormal Doors, it's a brand new show that I'm so excited about, Lauren, because, this is the show where actually we're going to go deeper into the spirituality. We're going to go deeper. We're going to mention some cool movies too, like Exorcism, Count Dracula, and many things. So we're going to compare that with a true fact and how far away they are from it. But also we're going to provide...
like with Dracula, you're going to talk about Vlad the Impaler?
Yes. That's my great uncle. And I'll tell you about that too. See, I have all this crazy bloodline in me. I think that's why I'm all over the place.
No wonder why you're so pale.
There we go. Yes. It must be the underground world.
Yeah, wow.
So basically, this Paranormal Doors, it will be also recorded on the StreamYard, just like we're doing right now. It's gonna be live on the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and probably different kind of other podcasts that are published over there.
Okay.
So I'm quite excited because this is going to all be about entering paranormal doors. So we're going to go deeper and deeper. We're going to have different guests. We're going to discuss personal experiences, cleansing, healing, connection with the other side. So I'm excited about this. And it's starting July 11th. So I'm excited.
That's great. Will this be a week? This will be a weekly show?
Yes, weekly show. Yes.
That's wonderful. So stay right there with you say you're an ancestor of Valid the Impaler, right? So
yes.
So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know out there, Valid Impaler's world history guide. It all really happened. What was that, about year 1000? Was it?
Yes. The Middle Ages. Yes. Yeah, the Middle Ages. Yes.
Yeah. So and then Bram Stoker inspired Dracula out of this.
Yes.
So yeah. So safe to say that guy he took a lot of lives in his day.
He accidentally, we were doing the ancestors' bloodline. There were certain things that we were digging for, but we never expected that. But then it came totally through my mother's bloodline, because my mother, she's actually connected to the great empress of Austrian-Hungary, the Empress Teresa. And he married the first lady from that crown. So he's married to our crown side. So he's our great uncle. And so he's our basically, we should say son-in-law. That's what I'm trying to say, because he married into our family. So, but I'm also taking that side to defend him, because many people, they see him, like you're saying about Bram Stoker, he wrote a part of it and make like you're talking about Hollywood. It's about making money. It's a drama. It's romance, all different kind of things together. But there's so much to Count Dracula that people don't know, that will hear in Paranormal Doors, that will be surprised.
Well, it almost literally, Hollywood had no ties to like his real castle, and like he was a warrior. Like that's and in a way Dracula is a love story, and if you really make it, because that's how you sell things, but
it's a love story, but it's more to it. Like, of course, nobody is mentioning that he was actually a hero. Through the whole European history, he was hero. There's a still, I don't know if you've ever been to Romania or
not yet, but that is so on my list. Like the place
come with
me
to visit my castle. We're gonna buy it after millions of the dollars. So basically, nobody wants to mention that. We know him as a Vlad Tepes, and the way of I know him too. He was a hero. And he was a Christian crusader, actually, and part of the being Draconian Templars. So he was actually protecting Christians against the Islam at the time, because the Turkish Empire was really strong at that time. Also, nobody is mentioning that he was a child that was captured when he was 12 years old in the dungeon, where he was abused in many different kind of ways. Imagine, Lauren, till you were 21 and being escaped. He was given by his own father so that his father can be sitting on the throne. So that was the deal. You give me your son and you will keep the throne. There's so much trauma there. I'm not saying that there was no killings that didn't happen, of course. But, as much there is brutality, there's also much about his great wisdom, about his protecting of the Christianity, protecting of his own people. And still somebody who's very related to him. And I feel that it's my duty that I have to say the truth, and I have to say who really he is.
Insert drum roll. Cool. And yes.
And and what do you want me to say now? You're funny.
I was like, really is. I was like, insert drum roll. I thought you were going to hit us with something super, but that's
you wanted to say something. Okay. So the most, okay. So, and you can add this. Okay. I will add this. So to what people should actually then pay attention to is actually what I will release about this gentleman on July 11th on the Paranormal Doors, because I'm going to say more how wonderful father he was, how wonderful brother he was, how he actually protected many people, and how he ended up actually in that dark side. So watch July 11 and you will be surprised.
I'll be tuning in, everybody. Yes, July
There
11th.
you go. There you go.
Paranormal Doors, and this is going to be is this going to be on YouTube?
Yes,
a
yes,
series
on
on
a, on
YouTube?
a YouTube and in a Facebook Live. Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yes.
So another one of your things I learned about you from another podcast actually is you encountered Bigfoot.
Yes, yes. So
Yes.
I've been on coast to coast for that. I've been all around. You're talking about that. The Bigfoot I accidentally encountered beside the Medicine Lake. So this is exactly the name of a lake. It's called Medicine Lake in Jasper National Park here in Alberta, Canada. We were going just for a little vacation.
Can I just jump in? Is this a connection from Washington State? Is it close to there? Because they always say like Washington State's got like the king of kind of where the Bigfoot sightings is. So is it?
You guys are under, so you can connect to Washington and Oregon.
Okay, so it is kind of one really, even though it's two different countries, it's one big organism.
Oh, it's because Rockies are going up. It's all the one line. So you're totally right about that, Lauren. Gotcha. So we were just going for a little vacation, a little break, nothing major about it. Nobody went for a research, searching for a Bigfoot or anything. We just wanted a little break. And many people don't know, but I do drive a RV. I have 35 feet RV, and people say, how come such a tiny lady, 5'4" can drive? I said, yeah, you don't know me. I can do anything. So, so I drove my RV, and we parked it beside the Medicine Lake just to explore the lake itself. It was basically very hot summertime. And then my puppy, my Maggie, she's Maltese. She was barking and trying, to go towards to the mountain area. And she was pulling me. She's a tiny little dog. So I lift her up. I said, okay, Maggie, while everybody's standing there, let's just go across the street because highway goes into two directions, one up, one down. And we're going to go and see it. So as I was holding Maggie, she was still continuing barking up the hill. So at that second, I didn't see it. And as I put my head up, I was stoned and I couldn't believe it. Me who can talk and and the women talk more than men. I saw this amazing, huge creature. Huge, taller than the...
How close is he to you?
So we can say about 4 or 5 meters, not too far away.
Okay.
And so basically the evergreen trees, because in Jasper, just like in Oregon, everything is in evergreen trees, just like a Christmas trees. They're huge, but and I look up the hill. This is like very over 8 feet tall. It's very tall. And at that moment, as I'm looking up, I made an eye connection. As I made an eye connection, I'm a very gutsy person. I don't get easy scared, and probably because of my gifts too, because I was experiencing so many things in life. Maggie was still barking, and when you hold the dog, she's pushing out of my chest. She wants to get out.
Yeah.
And I called her, and then I went towards. As I went towards to it, it went up the hill. That I never saw something like that, Lauren, going fast up the hill. Since then,
so it ran from you.
It ran away from me. Yeah, it didn't go towards to me. It got scared of me, and I made an eye connection. And at that moment, I went back to the RV and I was speechless. I didn't know what I saw. Like I'm saying, I talk, but I was speechless. My mouth was shut and I was just standing there. Everybody came back and I was alone. No, I wasn't alone. Everybody came back to the RV and they said, "You're quiet. How come you're quiet?" And I said, "I just saw something." And they said, "What did you see?" I said, "I saw a creature." And Maggie, Maggie, if she could talk, she could tell you what she saw.
Yes.
So they reported it to the rangers. This was actually reported to our provincial park rangers. And they said we were not the first one to report it, especially not on that area around the Medicine Lake, because Medicine Lake is full underground tunnels. And if you read about this lake, it disappeared during the winter time and comes back in a late spring. All the water is gone. Nobody knows where does it go. So it goes under the Miracles inside in the Jasper National Park. So they say there's many tunnels there that it goes deep. into the hills, into the mountains there. They don't know what's happening there, honestly. And the park ranger said, you are not the first one who reported that. We are unknown. So it's possible, that you saw anything. But then what I can tell you now, if anybody goes back to the Medicine Lake, they have cameras all around placed because so many people reported the sighting of this beautiful creature. I must say to you, Lauren, many people were scared of it. I wasn't. I felt more, maybe I am crazy and I'm gutsy. Maybe that's my Dracula blood in me, my other side, that I went towards to that to see what is it. And when I made the eye connection, I'll never forget that. I felt like, what is this? What is it? And that put me on that, still I can call it a holy grail on my own mission, trying to find.
Without a doubt. So there's a lot to unpack here. I got a bunch of things. So like, I know for a fact that Bigfoot documentaries are so unbelievably hot. They get so many hits. Like there's just people obsessed with what that is. And yes. I know there's tons of them spottings in Washington State. I know it goes all the way up to where you're at. And then you got your other parts around the world, but yes. For the most part, it's where you're at in Washington State.
Yes.
So just wanted to just focus in what was it? Black fur, gray fur? Like what were you what color is this thing?
It's black. And if people are saying that it looks like sometimes people make different conclusions and they say it looks like a grizzly. Like everybody must know, Canada is my country. I know what grizzly looks like. This is not even close to the grizzly. And, when grizzly gets up, you can see, and they usually make a sound, to scare you.
Grizzly ain't going anywhere if it don't want it. It ain't scared of anybody.
Exactly. There's no way that he will wait for you standing there and you holding a dog barking. And not me, just many other people that reported it too.
Yeah.
And then also, it doesn't look anything like gorilla. Like people are saying it looks like a gorilla. I saw gorilla in a zoo. I'm not going to lie that I saw gorilla in a live, that I saw it. But I saw it very closely like this. It doesn't look like gorilla. This looks, Lauren, like a creature that is more closer to the humans, like the structure of the body. I didn't see if it's a male or a female. I didn't see a male or private parts or a female or the breast or anything that actually puts our genders different.
Okay. Was there but it's just, was it this big black and this hairy fur? Was there more of could you actually see a chest on it at all in any way? Like a big chest? Like
I saw
I guess we just think of gorillas, like that big gorilla.
I saw the big chest.
Okay.
That you could see that it's more connected to human, and somebody who knows anatomy, and I study anatomy and physiology. That's how I make the living too. So basically it doesn't look like anatomy and physiology of our, gorilla, monkeys, or chimpanzee, who is actually the closest with the brain with us. To me, when I did the research, I started doing more research on it, and I started then connecting with many people that did see it and digging into it. Many people said they're coming from a different dimensions. And then I connected to many of our Aboriginal people, and even to Aboriginal people in the States, because we are just like a one country, like you're saying. Many of them said that they were always there, they were part of us, and that they were never, away from this civilization. They're just hidden because we were so invasive to them. But our Aboriginal people did pray for them and ask, for many gifts, guidance, and whatever for thousands of the years. And you can find them in carvings, in caves, and, many different kind of places, especially on the North American. So when I'm talking about Canada and America, there's some in Russia too. There's some in Russia. There's some I think in Brazil, some in Alaska, but our Alaska, Canadian Alaska up there. But, but I still found it that it's mostly on North American continent.
If you really break down the history and talk to Indian tribes, they've always talked about that there. They've also talked about giants, of Indians fighting giants. I mean, I'm one of them people, my mind's open to anything. I'm not telling you I believe everything, but a Bigfoot's kind of an easy, Bigfoot to me is why not? I get he doesn't walk down the street and wave to everybody, but I think it's smart enough to understand it can't.
Yes.
It can't. So this getting back, when you saw the face, was there a big like jawline? I'm just trying.
Yeah, no problem. You're asking more if he had like a more features of the monkey that squared. No, he had a more so the skull and basically the way of the mouth and the eyes were wider. I can say that. But the feature of the skull or the bone texture of the skull didn't look much more different than ours, except like you're saying about giant. We do have giants here in our Canada, and we do have them. If anybody wanted to see that, they should go just to the Tyrrell Museum. We have them. So there's
actually people could actually look at a Google Japan giant, and you could actually see there was a giant man from the late 1800s. I mean, it's unbelievable looking at the guy. It's like you almost think it's like Photoshop, but it's true. It's just a species that died out.
Yes. And in Canada, we have a lot of prehistoric animals. So if you take, for example, the dinosaurs, that's how Jurassic movie was made, because all the stories were dig. And our museum, like I'm talking about, it's about 3 hours away from where I live at. They do have all these prehistoric animals that live long time ago. And Canada is hidden jewel. We have so many untouched things that are actually hidden and that now are coming part of the other world. So it's quite beautiful to see that many people are becoming more interested in my home and my country. So I'm quite excited about that.
That's great. And I mean, I've done a lot of, obviously, Brees, like I said, I watch a documentary on almost anything, like anything that's like curiosity, I will check it out. But I could tell everybody, I don't have a Bigfoot story, but I could tell everybody I'm a guy that traveled the country 6 times over again. I've done cross country. And when I went to Mount St. Helen, that's in Washington State.
Yes.
I could tell you I'm driving up there at 6 a.m, going 25 miles up that thing. And it's amazing feeling the earth once you got away from Interstate 5. Wow. You're like back in society. There's trees that I've never seen that size of, because I'm on the East Coast. We don't have trees that size.
Yes.
But I had 2 feelings when I went there. Number one, Mount St. Helen, of just the respect of what it is. May 18th, 1980 at around 2:30 p.m. was the last volcano that exploded on American soil. Killing 56 people, including President Truman. If people don't know that. But they also said in that wrath, there was a lot of documentation of stories that they found, like 5 Bigfoots that didn't make it, during that they got burnt, and the military took the bodies to, keep everybody calm and stuff. But I could tell you, between that of the respect of it was 42 years ago. Like you're a volcano. You have a freaking little bit of I get it. Humble. But I also felt, and I'm not saying Bigfoot was running tree to tree watching me. I'm not saying that at all, but you could literally feel a presence there that's not normal, that you're used to going just to any set of woods. I could tell everybody that. Like you just felt like something's here more than meets the eye.
Exactly. And I love that you share that with me, and whoever will be listening to this, because there's so much to this world and so much hidden. But if we kind of just scrape a little bit more about it, and if we open our hearts and our mind, we will learn more about our own kind, about other creatures, about other dimensions you're mentioning, and other powers that were part of us for thousands of the years. I believe that we were never alone, and we are not alone. And that's what I'm standing for, and it's all about energy. I always mention that, Nikola Tesla was our famous, scientist. We all know. I personally know a lot about him. I visited his city. I know many things about him. I know some people that work in his museum. But Nikola Tesla always said, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It will go from one form to another. So he was actually telling us.
He's the guy I think by far is the most overlooked, one of the most important people ever walked, of our time. He doesn't get the credit for it. He doesn't get the credit for it. And even though he died poor and everything, it's like I mean, he's the guy in my eyes that cracked the code of what the pyramids are, was really a power source.
Yes.
People they just look at how they built, like, that was a power source, and he was trying to, crack what they did and make his own. It's just, it didn't work, but
many, for example, for you, because you interview many stars, and you are connected with many, famous people, so many of them go actually in that direction, and they connect with, or they go to the pyramids, they go to these, we should say, high energy places. The reason why, because they want to experience that energy. They want to connect with a higher power. They want to, maybe renew their souls, get their guidance and etc. Because it's proven when you enter the pyramids, like you're mentioning about that, being ancient symbologist and somebody who works really closely with the Egyptian craft, I can tell you there's more than people are saying about pyramids than, just like a tomb. There's more of the energy connection to the other side. And the grand creators are there, cold, and like electromagnetic fields are there to heal us and guide us. And many of the stars that you actually do interview, they come there to heal their soul, to, maybe renew their energies and etc.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how the ones in Egypt, the very top, is exactly like the ones in Mexico. Like how did that happen? If you really look at the power sources, almost like they were trying to shoot a hole through the earth, the harness energy. But I guess we're never truly going to know. But I just think there's so much more to being the human race, the human mind. It's amazing what the human heart could do. And it's also sad how quick people could break down. And I really think it has a lot to do with, TV and their phones and jealousy and, wanting the attention. Like, I think you're betraying your soul. And I can't say there's probably some people laughing and chuckling because I have a little flair going with myself, but I try to balance that out. I really do. I try to have an equal balance.
None of us are perfect. We must go with the time, of course, but we also, like you're saying, we should be balanced. The reason why, if you are constantly for example, you and I are now using this technology to connect and spread a message and, answer some unknown questions and also make some interesting thoughts and, send a message, entertainment and etc. That's part of the life and that's totally normal. But there are people that are really obsessed with it, or obsessed with, just like you have a, beautiful picture there of Elvis Presley. We know that people were killing themselves to see the Elvis Presley hitting onto the floors and whatever. But, he was still a human.
Yes.
He was still a human. Michael Jackson was still a human. Prince was still a human. Madonna is still a human, like she's alive. Don't get me wrong.
And Prince was definitely the waters of the purple rain. If you want to talk about a guy that was definitely spiritual and in his own world, like if you want to say out of everybody you just named, it was him. If there's everybody always says, like, I talk about Prince a lot. I've been to Paisley Park. I've been to Elvis's grave. I've been to Doc Holliday's grave. I know it's Val Kilmer, but like when I travel, I try to connect with everybody that was
beautiful.
Yeah. So,
and that's I'm more connected, and I know people maybe will start laughing, but people that don't know me, they know that I'm more connected with, like, stars that you were mentioning with. I'm more connected with the Prince because I think there's more to the Prince than people are saying. And I never met him. I don't want to lie, but I wish I did. Michael Jackson had a beautiful soul. And to me, he was more than just an artist. He was trying to escape from his own reality. He was trying to live his dream, but also build something different. He was a very spiritual person too. And
I've always said, between like everyone you're naming, like, first off, when you're Elvis, there was never a person like that before him to get that much fame. Yes. And and the Colonels, they're pushing him and keep going and keep going. Yes. Like, you wonder why he's getting into drugs and all that. And back then, they didn't really tell you drugs were bad because they didn't really know.
No.
So there was no one really to guide him. And then you want to say Michael Jackson had a horrible upbringing with his father. So I think this was just a child, a man, and a child in a man's body.
Yes. Yes.
I think he was heavily misunderstood. People could just look on paper like, wow. And Prince, definitely made his own world, but Michael Jackson and Prince together made their own world.
Yes.
Michael Jackson made the Neverland Ranch. Prince
Yes.
made, Paisley Park.
Yes.
The thing about Prince is Prince didn't care to explain anything to you. You just looked at that mystique of who he is.
Yes.
He left you with a cryptic message, and
yes,
you got it, you didn't, you get it. Michael Jackson, I think, stuck his foot in his mouth and talked too much, and that's when everyone was like, okay, dude, like you're a little, and they think they're both of their downfalls. Anyone who knows what they did, in a way, I call it, they died for music. Michael Jackson danced his ass off and hurt his body. Prince had a short man's complex, was doing splits in heels and blowing his hip out. Those guys weren't getting drugged up to be high. They were trying to get through the day. And it's hard when you make your own world for the people you hire, say, hey, could you cut that down? Well, I'm the boss. Don't say that to me.
Exactly.
It's hard. And before you know it, we lost them.
True. And that's, and to me, that I will connect. I know it's going to maybe sound a little bit bizarre, but it's the same that, we put so many people down and we judge them before we get to know them, because we see they're somebody, they're stars. I know, and I know you are connected with me. You see on my Facebook, on my Instagram, I have many high profiles, but I respect them for their work. I admire them for what they do. But to me, they're human beings just like everybody else. And I think that's why I'm really easily connected with them, because I don't have a problem to tell them, hey, you're wrong. Or you know what? You suck in this and this. But also I'll tell you, no, you are great. Lauren, you're great at your show. This is what you do. I really respect it. So, but I'm not going to put you above each other, because I think you are all great in your own way. And as somebody who does go deep into spirituality, and that's the crown that I'm carrying inside of my heart and inside of my soul, I don't judge people by that. I judge them by their characters. I judge them what basically they will do for one another. Mistakes do happen. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect either.
Yep.
But don't judge the book that you never read, and maybe it doesn't have such a fancy cover, but it's maybe really a good book. So that's how I look at it.
You try to walk it. I always say you try to walk the earth with an open mind. You know what turns you on and turns you off. So sometimes I have that thing of like, once I made my mind up with something, 10 years later, I'll revisit it and be like, ooh, like I missed out on a lot of good stuff because, I extra tuned it out. So I always say I'm always trying to get through life, have the best experience possible, surround myself with the best people. And you know what? Every so often you realize you were doing something wrong, and that's part. I don't think people need to get down on each other for that. That's just part of growing as a human.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, stop crucifying yourself because you made a mistake.
As long as you didn't do something bad. I'm saying selling another human being. For the boy. I'm not talking about human trafficking. I'm not talking about selling the drugs, selling children. I'm actually a big fighter for the children and human rights. Everybody knows me. They know that. But I'm talking if you made a mistake. Today you said something to me. I'll say, Lauren, you hurt me. Can you tell me why did you say that? You know, but we can find a common ground. Or, maybe you had a bad day. Maybe, I didn't understand really well. So that's how I look at it. But we as a human go much more, like you're talking about the jealousy, negativity, and hate. We need to come back on the ground. We need to connect more than ever before to the roots, because we are far away from everything.
Yeah. Danielle, this is one awesome show here. We're about to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for coming on. So let's just run back through this for everybody. So The Magic of Spirit Lake is your book, and people could currently buy that on Amazon right now, right?
Yes.
Sweet. And Paranormal Doors is going to be your YouTube series, which starts next week, July 11th.
Yes.
Awesome. Anything else you would like to plug? Feel free. The floor is yours. And also let everybody know again how they could contact you.
Well, first of all, I want to say again, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be part of your show. I was quite excited it's always nice to meet the new people and connect with such a beautiful souls like you are yourself. I can feel your energy and your
Thank you
vibes, and
much.
that's
Thank
making
you.
me happy. Thank you. And I want to say, anybody who is looking forward, to the new life, they want to, experience spirituality, they want a compass and the guidance, they can contact me through my email, mdd1720@gmail.com. They can also contact me through my Facebook and just send a message to the messenger. And I go a lot of times, I'm not connected to the people, but I'll go through the messenger. Read a book if you're searching for basically for the loved one to be saved, or just to spread a message that, there is a different way of fighting this terrible disease, not just cancer, because magic of the spirit lake or Vanakami or Lac de Saint Anne existed for thousands of the years and healed many other people. So I want to say again, thank you, Lauren, for such a beautiful experience at your show. It's been a blast.
Danielle, thank you so much for stopping by. And I thank this audience again for taking the time to check out Average Superstar TV. Please subscribe to Average Superstar TV on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. And with that, we will end the episode, and I will say thank you, everyone.